Year 2219. The moon is no longer the place where people live. After the global electromagnetic storm disaster in 2087, humanity was forced to withdraw all research stations from the moon, not because of a lack of technology, but because of a lack of hope. The last base left behind is Echo 7, located deep under the reef in the dark half of the moon, where the sun never shines. No one came back. There is no rescue team. No signal. The base was crossed out of the official map in 2092. Its data is stored in the unpriority section. And then, on a night in May 2219, the old camera of Echo 7 suddenly turned on again. No one activates. There is no command from Earth. It just starts by itself. Earthlink Space Monitoring Unit detected the first image signal at 2:37 Universal Time Coordinated. The image is blurry, shaking, colorless. But there was clearly movement. A figure of a person came out of the corridor of the engine room, the area that had been sealed due to a level 5 radiation leak. That person's figure is wearing a classic black suit. No safety helmet, no oxygen tank, no biosensor, and most importantly, he is breathing normally. Earthlink thought it was a simulation or remnants of image noise from radiation waves. But after 2 days, the base's energy system returned to full operation. The gate opens automatically. The signal light turns green. The entire base, after more than a century of abandonment, began to operate as if it had never stopped. The command can't ignore it anymore. A probe team of 5 researchers and officers was sent to the moon under an emergency order. On May 17, 2219, the Lysithea probe landed on the surface near Echo 7. The team captain is Lieutenant Colonel Malik, along with 4 members, AI engineer, psychologist, data storage expert, and a technology archaeologist. They are warned about all risks: radiation, structural collapse, old defense systems can be reactive. But when entering Echo 7, they all stood still. No dust. There is no sign of time passing. All devices, clean, shiny, and operate smoothly. A light scent of wood and black tea wafts through the air, which is impossible in an artificial vacuum environment. In the central control compartment, image data from 3 days ago is reopened. A video appears. A man in a black suit is sitting in the command chair, holding a small notebook, intently writing with a pen and ink. He was not startled by the camera. Don't try to hide your face. On the contrary, when the video ended, he looked straight at the camera and smiled. Lieutenant Colonel Malik ordered the search. 5 people split up along 5 main paths leading to the old areas. And in the storage room on the 2nd floor, which was once buried by the last explosion of Echo 7, psychologist Eleanor discovered the metal door slightly open. No one has ever opened that door since 2091. It is tightly welded with a magnetic locking layer. But now, it just whispered crack when Eleanor touched his hand. Inside is a small, empty room, except for one thing. A cup of tea is still smoking. And then, a male voice sounded behind her. "You arrived later than I thought." Eleanor turned around. A man with salt and pepper hair, wearing a black suit, a straight collar, icy blue-gray eyes, is standing at the door. "I'm Orlan," he said. "I've been waiting for a long time." When Eleanor asked him who he was, he only answered one question. "I am the last guest, who has never left this place." Control Center, Echo 7. AI engineer Kalen urgently scans all bioidentification data. The face of the man named Orlan is compared with all global biological identity systems from 2050 to 2219. Result: no joints, no ID code, no DNA, no accommodation history. Orlan does not exist. However, all biosensors show. Breathe evenly. Stable circuit. No signs of cell aging. There are not even any radioactive isotopes in humans, which cannot happen to people who used to live on Earth. Lieutenant Colonel Malik confronted him. "Who are you? And why do you live here, without equipment, without survival support?" Orlan looked straight at Malik. His face has no challenge. There is no fear either. Just a strange admission, as if he had known this question a long time ago. "I am the guardian of this base. I've been here since before you were born. No one survived in Echo 7 after 2091. "You are lying." Orlan smiled. "I have never left. You guys are the ones who come later." Eleanor, a psychologist, observes Orlan's gestures, facial expressions, eyes, and tone. Initial conclusion: there is no false expression. He even has an unusually high level of mental stability. But then he continued, and the whole team was stunned. Kalen, don't try to scam my data. I used to do that in 2174, and I also failed at that time. Kalen stepped back. She has never been to the moon, never met this man. Orlan turned to Eleanor. And you still shed tears in your dreams? Eleanor was dumbfounded. She has never told it to anyone, except once, in a dream, with a strange man. The whole group panicked. Lieutenant Colonel Malik ordered Orlan to be temporarily detained in the isolation chamber on the first floor. But Orlan didn't react. He followed orders like a person who had done this many times before. Monday night at Echo 7. Data expert Rafi is missing. The group found his astronaut suit, neatly folded, placed in the middle of the data room corridor. Open, empty. There are no bloodstains. There are no physical traces that he was attacked or disintegrated. There is only one line lightly drawn on the floor. I remembered. Lieutenant Colonel Malik asked for access to surveillance video. The corridor camera did not record anything, only saw an unusual interference lasting 1 minute and 44 seconds. Then there is the image of the astronaut suit, lying there since the camera turned on again, from before the expedition landed. At the same time, in the isolation chamber, Orlan was drawing. There is no paper. There is no pen. He drew with his fingers on the glass, ancient symbols. It seems to be a map, but not of Echo 7. Lieutenant Colonel Malik asked, "Do you know where Rafi is?" Orlan just answered softly, "He doesn't belong here." And now, he's back to where we started. Eleanor, despite fear, still decided to ask him again. "What are you? Are you human? A kind of living machine? Or something else?" Orlan pondered. Then he said, "I am not a human, but I was born from their memory. I live in this base, not with blood, but by things they never dared to tell." The third day at Echo 7. The base seems to be more and more lively. The doors opened by themselves before someone was about to walk in. The lighting system turns on by emotion, not movement. The plants in the biological room, once thought to be dead, began to grow again. And while the group is confused, something else is happening inside them. Dr. Eleanor was the first person to feel it. While checking her personal brainwave sensor, she discovered that her sleep was no longer a dream, but a memory. She found herself standing in the corridor of this base 40 years ago. She, in the dream, is a different person, the chief engineer of Echo 7, wearing a uniform, holding a new design. She knows the security code, knowing the name of her deceased lover, a name that Eleanor had never heard in her dreams, but made her cry when she woke up. Engineer Kalen began to talk to himself, not in the mirror, but through the internal communication system. She heard a bass voice. "Last time I chose to leave. Do you regret it?" Kalen was scared, tried to delete the system log, but discovered that the audio file had existed since 2091, more than 100 years ago, but contained her own voice. Lieutenant Colonel Malik dreamed that he was being tried, standing in the middle of a council full of people dressed in white. Crime, changing the memory of the dead. He woke up sweating profusely. On his hand is an old piece of paper, handwritten. "You used to be me. Don't repeat." The whole team has one thing in common. They are reliving memories that are not theirs. But those memories, the more detailed, the more real. So much so that Kalen can no longer remember her biological father's name, but only remembers the name in her dream. They went to Orlan. He is making tea. This space is not only material storage. It stores pain. When too many people die in the same place, memory does not disappear, it gathers. Orlan raised the teacup. "Smile. I am the rest of the forgotten things. I was not born. I was formed." Eleanor asked, "Why are we caught up in those memories?" Orlan replied, his eyes looking up to the ceiling. "Because you carry the emptiness in you. And here, there are too many memories that need a place to stay." Tuesday night. Kalen disappeared. Her suit didn't leave any words this time, but the biometric system records the last thing. She stood still for 43 minutes in the pressure room, lifeless eyes, before disappearing from the frame. The whole base began to change. The wall color turns to a cold gray tone like the early Echo 7. Strange faces, old medical records, mission diaries of people who died here more than 100 years ago appear on the screens. A text appears on all devices. No one is new. Only those who have come back. Lieutenant Colonel Malik demanded the immediate withdrawal of troops. But the Lysophia ship did not respond. The navigation signal has been redirected. The reason is unknown. Eleanor sat down, her hands trembling. I don't want to be someone else. Orlan approached and put his hand on her shoulder. His voice is no longer firm. Don't be afraid of memories. Furious, when no one remembers them anymore. When he woke up, he opened his eyes and exclaimed, I was the one who ended this place, and now I'm the one who started it again. The fourth day at Echo 7. Only 3 people survived. Lieutenant Colonel Malik, Dr. Eleanor, archaeologist Juno, who was just woken up with the memory of the engineer who once brought down the Echo 7 system in 2091. The base seems to wake up completely. The door opens and closes according to thought. Light changes color according to emotions. Old areas, once blockaded, are now automatically open. No one gave an order. No one controls. Juno, with his eyes widened abnormally, began to speak in a voice that was not his own. I remember. I turned off the power. I shouldn't do that. But at that time I was afraid. I didn't want those memories to live forever. Malik looked at him, trembling. What are you talking about? You are Juno. You are not Engineer Raiden. Juno turned around, his eyes deeply. If I remember all about him, if I see everything through my own eyes, will I still be me? In the command room, Eleanor plugged in the energy field reading device. The result made her suffocate. The power source that operates Echo 7 does not come from the sun, not from nuclear batteries, not from any source that humanity has ever known. It is a complex wave field, born from the accumulated consciousness of those who died here. Echo 7. Fed by memory. She whispered. Orlan, now like in the air, no need to eat, no need to breathe, still sitting there, by the teacup. When people die, memory energy does not dissolve. It wanders. And if enough people die in the same place with enough strong emotions, that memory field will gather, will form an entity. I am that being. Malik was silent. Are you a ghost? Is it a collective soul? Orlan nodded slightly, his eyes were far away. Not a ghost. Not people. I am the rest when the nostalgia is too much to disappear. Eleanor turned to Malik. We can't get anyone out of this place. Because a part of us has been copied here. Echo 7 is not only storage. It reproduces memories. Juno exclaimed. If I leave, will the rest of us live here? Orlan smiled. And maybe, one day, he came out of the closed room, wearing a suit, making tea. And greet newcomers, as I used to be. Malik decided. Record the entire event in the black box, then transmit to Earthlink via backup satellite. In the last log, he wrote, Echo 7 is no longer a base. It is memory. It is an open question. Who stays here for too long will become a part of the answer. 2 days later, the rescue ship from Earth landed. No one picked up. Base, silence. No signal. No response. Only one camera is still working. It records the image, a woman wearing a white coat, making tea, sitting where Orlan used to sit. The tilt angle is very light. Unknown face. But if you look closely, it's Eleanor. 7 years later, another base, once completely collapsed at the south pole of the moon, suddenly emitted a signal. The camera recorded an image of a 10-year-old boy wearing an old engineer's uniform, standing by the glass door overlooking the Earth. No one knows who you are. But on the glass, drawn with steam, there is an inscription. I just want someone to remember me, under the dust of the moon. Maybe not just stone and iron and steel,